history, and certainly we've been nostalgic about it, and with a touch of sadness too.
Well, you really understand history, and think about the 250 players that graduated from this team to the National Hockey League.
7 Memorial Cups.
Oh, I mean, and you're talking about timekeepers. They just honored a number of people from Ron Ellis to George Armstrong, as we see right there, who coached a couple Memorial Cups. And you talk about history: 4 Stanley Cups, 1 Allen Cup ring, 1 American Hockey League ring, 2 Memorial Cup rings for George. Ron Ellis beside him. We're talking about some history. The timekeeper who did his first 1928. Well, you know, because you were here, weren't you?
There you see the chief.
Well,
right now,
you talk about hockey, you talk about the chief. Make no mistake of that.
But right now, he's probably thinking how much fun he had coaching junior hockey compared to how much fun he's having now.
But comparatively, when you compare the talent, he had some players there. They're going to have a ceremonial dropping of the puck, of course. And Jeff Weber from Kingston and
John
Nelson from Toronto.
So there you see the ceremonies ending, and we'll come back for the Kingston Raiders and the Toronto Marlboros as our OHL Game of the Week returns. And the more experienced of the 2 Kingston goaltenders, but they're going to need a big game from Wilson today, especially when you figure, Bass, how much firepower the Marlies have.
Hey, take a look. Wilson's got a 3.99 goals against average. When you've got a team that's fighting for the playoffs,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a pretty good... and then David Schell, and then we get a look at Wilson here, just getting ready for the Raiders. And then when you look at Schell at the other end here, they got him from London on a trade, and they brought him in to stop the puck, and he's been doing it.
Well, of course, we mentioned about the obvious importance of this game as far as the Kingston Raiders are concerned. The Marlies, with a win this afternoon, can move into a third-place tie, and they're fighting for home ice through the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Wow. When we talk about today and we talk about what we're going to see, of course, when have we had the Marlies on that they got a less than 26 goals? Can you remember?
Well, there you see, speaking of nostalgia.
Oh, let me tell you about this guy. Most highly respected referees that I've ever known. I mean, he understands there should be a lot of referees here today just to watch him. He understands the flow of the game. There's just no question about this guy, about what he is. Jimmy Lever, of course. Hey, refereed in World Championship hockey, Olympics in '84, Memorial Cups. Hey, 2 Junior World Championships. You can't stop.
Here we go. The game is underway. Barahowski will drive it into the Toronto zone. Tipped by the Marlboros. They don't get it out the first time. Then they just bat it out at center. Weber will drive it right back in again. And back to pick it up, Jeff Circa. Circa spun around in the corner. The puck pops loose. The Marlies will chop it up on the right side. And it comes out to center. On the right wing, it's Mike Jackson. And at the 24-second mark, we have the game's first penalty. Looks like Mark Major is going to get the gate for hauling down Mike Jackson.
Mark Major will get tripping and pretty early.
Well, there you see the stats on Major. Couple of penalty minutes there before. It's not like
we're going to get a look at it right here. He's coming back. He's trying to catch him and get him right there, and he doesn't get the puck, knocks his feet, and got it. Jimmy Lever, I mean, he's right there to call it, and doesn't really like to call too many things unless it's obvious, and that certainly was 2 minutes for tripping, and right away we're going to see that Marley power play. Mark Major, picked by Pittsburgh. I don't know, he's at 6'4", 222, so when you bring him down, you need a crane.
222 is also the penalty minutes he had before he picked up 2 more.
Yes.
So the Marlies will work with the man advantage. We're early in the opening period at the Gardens behind the Kingston net. The puck is cleared. Sameta can't keep it in. It comes back on the point to Davidson. Back to Sameta. He'll flip it into the corner. They're trying to get somebody in front. Marlies still have it. Jackson holds on to it. Now it's intercepted, and back the other way comes Bodnerchuk. Bodnerchuk over the line takes a shot that was deflected off Davidson, and Collinson will roll it up on the right side, and Jackson can't pick it up. Back in over the line offside. And we have 1 minute and 28 seconds left in the penalty to Mark Major.
Well, I mean, we're going to see some firepower when you start talking about Sameta and these guys when they come out. It's one way you can intimidate a team.
Score a lot of goals.
Yes, and especially through your power play.
There you see Mr. Mavity.
Well, do you think he's fresh off a big win last night to keep himself alive? He'll have this team ready today.
Puck bouncing around at the Toronto line, intersected. Here's Doucette, takes the shot. He went short side and snapped it just wide as the Marlies turn it over inside their own blue line. Back the other way comes Semeta. Semeta turns, looks for some help, feeds it back on the other side for Davidson. Collinson in the corner, back of the net, rolls it around, and Jackson will pick it up. Jackson turns, gets around a check, throws it back to Davidson. Davidson over on the other side. It comes back for Davidson at the left point. The Raiders doing a good job of boxing it up, and will roll around on the other side for Nelson. Nelson still has possession, moves into the hash mark, goes in, throws it over, and Davidson fired it wide. Comes back on the other side for Collinson. Collinson gets it in for Nelson. Nelson rubbed out of the play by Kavanaugh. It goes back the other side. Davidson threw it across, no contact. Doucette chasing it down, doesn't get it out. He and Nelson collide, and there's a stoppage in play with 31 seconds left in the minor penalty of the Raiders. Well, and a minute and 53 seconds gone in the opening period.
Davidson had a chance right there. They moved the puck, threw it over there from Nelson, and had some open net, but you got to hit it first.
There you see Terry Martin.
Oh, yeah, you look it up at that clock saying we got 31 seconds left, and I'd like to get one right away and feel better about it.
Well, of course, we were here last week. They fell behind 2-0. Didn't mean a thing. And you have to know that a team like the Kingston Raiders doesn't want to get too far behind, although this has been the script for them.
Yes, and I'll tell you, the last time Kingston was in here, which was another big game, they've had them all for the last 2 months, they won 2-1. So they can play. As a matter of fact, Matt was telling me before the game, last month and a half, the games they've lost have only been by 1 goal or open net goal.
Well, they might be the best last-place club in the league's history. I mean, they're in every game.
Every game.
Puck bouncing around at center, controlled by the Raiders. Barahowski has it. The penalty to Major is over, and the Raiders get rid of it down the ice. David Schill will set it up for Jeff Circa. Circa rolls it around on the right side. Marlies will try to carry it out, turn it over inside their own line, and dump right back in again by the Raiders. Circa being chased by Brad Gratton. Circa comes out the other way with it. At his own line at center. Circa spun it across to Gavaderis, and the play is offside. 17:07 to play first period. We're still looking for our first goal. Second intermission. Our Super Grad Series will continue. Peter Zezel, former Marley, former Philadelphia Flyer, now with the St. Louis Blues. We'll be talking to
former
Michael.
Don Mills midget, former Air Canada Cup player, former good one. Still a good one.
The puck in the Kingston zone. The Raiders will tip it up on the right side. It goes for Jason Snow. Snow at his own line as a man breaking on the left, just dumps it in. Back of the net. Schill will stop it. Being watched. Comes back on the right side. Along the boards. Into the corner it goes. And to play a little scrambling inside the Toronto zone. Marlies will dump it out. Here's a chance for Sukin. Sukin being spun around by Brock Shayak. It goes around and out to center and Armstrong. Throws it over on the other side for Rob Lease. Lease, his pass ahead for Kovacs. And that is whistled down with 16:24 to go in the period. Kind of a slow start to this one.
Slow start, very close checking, and you can expect that because, you know, as we talked about earlier, Toronto got to go to has a chance to go into third, so it's just important for them.
See Bill Kovacs sitting on the bench, and the stats on him. Wow. Kind of one of the unsung players on this team.
Bill Kovacs is their #1 pick from the Burlington Junior Bees, 6'3", 213. He'll be an NHL pick, you can be sure of that.
Here's Circa feeding it across on the other side for Collinson. Back to Circa inside the Toronto zone. We approach the 4-minute mark. That's an offside pass to Semeta. And they'll bring it back and drop it inside the Marley line. 16:12 to go in the period. We're still scoreless. Line, no score, 16 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the opening period at Maple Leaf Gardens. Circa takes it back of the Marley net, puts on the brakes, and takes a peek. He'll go the other way with it. He'll throw it up, down through the middle, off the stick, goes back to Barahowski, to Waver, back to Barahowski. Barahowski at center, throws it into the Toronto zone. Collinson drives it off the boards, kept in by the Raiders. Back behind the net it goes, and Collinson will flip it up on the right wing. Raiders come back. Here's Semeta. And the play offside at the Kingston blue line.
You see Nelson there, their captain, definitely their 12th round pick in the midget draft. which is somehow, there's no question, their leader from the Red Wing Midgets. Comes to play all the time. He definitely leads this club, leads it with his heart, works very, very hard, always in the play. 12th round pick. And everybody says, oh, if you're not a high pick, don't go to camp, don't do this. What a bunch of malarkey. There's more late picks and invites as I have seen here over the years, and you could, well, I know you can't count that high.
The puck bouncing around outside the blue line. Notice how I paid no attention to that whatsoever.
I'm a little upset about it.
That was the idea. The puck bouncing back at the Toronto line. The Marlies trying to get something going back the other way. Comes Tony Yob, takes the side and scores, and it's 1-0 Raiders. The first real good chance the Raiders have had.
Well, if you got the puck when you get in there, if you take the chance, then drill the puck. He comes in. Now, watch here. Grattan comes up and says, hey, we're standing still here. Just lets the puck go. Kind of catches Schill a little off guard. And his 28th is in the net.
So Brad Grattan.
From the Brampton Junior Bees. He was Hamilton when Hamilton was in the league, their first pick.
Before they went to Niagara Falls, right?
Yes. And now they're going to be Hamilton again, but a different team. Now tell the viewers what that's all about.
The puck bouncing around at center. Young will throw it over on the other side. The Raiders 1-0 on a goal by Brad Grattan. 15:03 to go in the first period. We'll come right back. Guelph knocks off the Falls 8-3. Kingston 8-5 winners over Ottawa. Kitchener 4, the Sioux 1. North Bay losing in London 8-4. Actually, that score is wrong in Guelph. That was 3-2 for Niagara Falls. We apologize for that. Certainly, the Thunder want those 2 points because they are involved in that M's division race. They're tied now with Kitchener, although the Rangers have 2 games in hand, which makes the game in Belleville tonight very important. As you see, Chris Govidaris recently back from a 15-game suspension and picked up 2 goals here the other night to give him 40 on the year.
And when you're sitting out that many, it was Hartford's first pick. He was also the Marlies' first pick. Also a graduate of the Young Nats Midgets. We talk every time we're here, but that Metro Toronto Midget League here produced a lot of players, don't they?
They sure do. The puck back into the Kingston zone. There's a hit by Govidaris, takes his man, and the bodies go flying. Then Mike Jackson moved in with a hit. And the puck bouncing around along the boards inside the Raider zone. There's another hit by Jackson, and it knocked the helmet off Brock Woods, and I think we might have a penalty coming up here. Boy, here we go. That's Jamie Vargo going at it with Jackson.
They didn't hesitate. They took exception to that high stick there and that charging.
This is going to be interesting to call because do you give Vargo an aggressor?
Well, that'll be interesting. You may give him 2 minutes just for the instigator, and then 5. You know, Jimmy tries to keep the players in the league unless they are in the game, unless they take themselves out. I would think now that'll even it up. He'll get the extra 2 there.
Here's the play that really set the whole tempo.
He comes in and gets a shot right there, and then now he hasn't had enough. They're getting the puck out here. We see the puck last. Now we're gonna, they stay on the play, that looks like they're coming right out. And right there as he jumps at him for a charging call.
He could have given Jackson 4 minutes before the fight even started.
Yes.
Well, he's giving Jackson 2 for charging and 5 for fighting.
And Jimmy said, hey, they both wanted to get into it, so he just give them each 5.
Well, the alternative would have been to give Jackson 9 and the Kingston player 7.
Exactly.
14.5 minutes to go in the period. They're sorting it out. It's 1-0 Kingston. We'll come right back. In the first period, the Raiders will have a power play. Jackson gets 7 minutes and 5 minutes to Jamie Vargo. Now we got something else going on here. Barahowski getting into it with Nelson, I think.
Oh, there's some disagreements there, and they're both looking at each other, and you notice that one thing about Lever I've always said about the respect. We're going to get a look at it here. That Now there's a little action right there as the play goes on, and then they throw the puck around.
Number 55, Baker Husky, 2 minutes for cross-checking.
So cross-checking to Barahowski.
11, John Nelson, 2 minutes for roughing.
And roughing to Nelson.
Roughing, and you can always tell the respect that Jimmy Lieber has. You know, he calls the penalty. Everybody goes to the penalty box. There's no discussion. It's it's credit to the. He really does understand the flow of a game. I mean, it's fine. He'll call the penalties. Don't get me wrong, but he's so highly respected. I mean, they should be here watching him just for the clinics that he can run.
The Raiders will continue to work on the power play as the offsetting penalties go to Barahowski and Nelson. Here's a chance for the Raiders moving in front. Shot was deflected back behind the net. The Raiders working on the power play. Comes back on the left point to Waver. Waver holds on to it. Gets it over to Grattan. Grattan back to Waver. Waver moves in, takes the shot, scores! And it's 2-0 Kingston.
Wow.
Took them 24 seconds to capitalize as Waver gets his 25th of the year.
Now listen. This Waver can drill a puck, and we're going to see it. They set it up for him, as a matter of fact. He's got it right there. Somebody on him now. He throws it over. As they retreat, now he's got some time. Get a look here with the player coming over. Look at the time he's got. Drills it in just a little bit off the ice. Those are the toughest to get. And before you say hello here, with 14:07 left, it's 2-0 the Raiders.
Well, you can be sure they're watching this game with great interest in Belleville.
And Kingston. And everywhere. What are you talking about? The Ottawa and
Cornwall.
This is Toronto could move into a tie, and then.
Oh, there's a solid hit behind the net by the Kingston Raiders. And back come the Marlies the other way on the right side, trying to get it inside over the line. The play is whistled down. Offside. And we'll have a face-off with 13:47 to go in the opening period. Here is Collinson about to get hit.
Collinson's coming around. He just releases the puck, and I'll tell you, Mark Major comes in. That's a shot, isn't it? But that Collinson's a tough kid. One of my favorite players, I tell you something, from the Mississauga Rep Midgets. This kid, I saw some of his paintings again today.
Great stuff.
Told him I'm never going to mention him again if we don't get some. He's a talented young man, and he comes to play all the time.
You must be impressed with pictures that aren't done in crayon, right?
Well, we had one there in crayon. That's the one I like.
Connect the dots. Puck goes back around the Toronto net. The Marlies can't get it out. Comes back in the point. Shayak, a shot comes bouncing right back in front, and Davidson had it tipped away. And back the other way come the Marlies. Over the line was Winch. Winch can't get anywhere. Tipped on the right wing. Kept in by the Marlies. Davidson goes back in front. Winch's shot stopped by Wilson. And back the other way come the Raiders. Cleared by Bodnerchuk down to the Toronto line, and Collinson is there to pick it up. We played a second better than 7 minutes in this opening period, and the Raiders with a 2-0 lead. Here's Jason Winch. Takes a long shot. Big rebound stopped by Wilson. Mike Cavanaugh has it. The Marlies making complete changes. Cavanaugh gets it over to McKillop. Long shot goes wide. Schill back to pick it up. Armstrong wheels it around on the left side for Kovacs. Comes back on the point. There's a shot that was tipped by Doucette. Still bouncing around. Doucette centers it. Back around the net. Comes back on the left side. Waver threw it back into the corner to McKillop. Tried to get it to Doucette. Doucette in front. Here's a chance. They score, and it's 3-0. 3-0 as Jeff Waver has got from his defensive position to score his second goal.
Moved right in there to an opening, and talk about getting in there early with only 12:22 left yet. Now see how they're staying on the puck. Waver reads it, nobody there to take him out, and hey, he's got himself a pretty goal. Now that is a candidate for the Longine Whitmire play of the game, and Waver gets his 26th of the year, the second of the game, and the Kingston Raiders have a 3-0 lead before there's any snow in there.
12 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first period. But you have to think.
What have we said before about the Marlies?
Not enough, maybe. Here's Waver back in his own zone. He'll backhand it off the boards. Back the other way come the Raiders. It's Giesbrecht rolling it in wide of Schill. Back for it is Phil Armstrong. As we move in on the 8-minute mark of this opening period, the Raiders up 3-0. Bouncing puck. Waver gathers it in and takes it back in his own zone. Being checked from behind. Waver is knocked down. The puck's still loose. Cleared off the boards, but not out. Weaver back to cover up. Drills it around on the boards. Doucette can't get to it. Armstrong has to back up at center. Armstrong will bounce it right back into the Raider zone, and Weaver will just drive it around on the boards. It goes right onto a Toronto stick. Behind the net, the Marlies try to center it in front. Through the crease it goes. Comes back on the left point for Lees, who moves up. It's tipped in front again. Now the Raiders will break the other way with it. 2-on-2 at center. Here's Doucette. Long shot off Schill's blocker. Going after the rebound was Similaro. He was knocked down. And the Marlies come back the other way with it. On the left side, a pass for Michael Ryer too far. And Cavanaugh has it for the Raiders. At center, down over the Toronto line, tried to barrel around the defense, didn't work. Semeta spun around on the corner for the Marlies. And the other way, a long pass down through the middle at center. Too far for Nelson. And here's Cavanaugh getting around a check. Cavanaugh takes a look, flips it up down through the middle, picked off by Collinson. Collinson chips it back the other way, and Shayak has it for the Raiders. Shayak comes down over the line, trying to get around the defenseman, gets around Circus. Shayak goes back behind the net. Now still has possession. He'll drop it back on the point. Barahowski fakes the shot. Now he'll take a shot. Was deflected just wide into the corner the other way. And Semeta will come up with it for the Marlies. Semeta looking for some skating room, picks his way up across his own line, intercepted and back the other way. Now another couple of pretty moves by Grattan, winds up that shot off Collinson over the glass. 10:14 to go in the period. 3-0 Kingston. And our OHL game of the week returns after the Longini Whitnauer plays of the game so far. Mr. Bassett.
I think that Weaver's got is a leading candidate for an interesting Marley line they got on here now. Nelson at center, Govidaris at right wing, and Semeta at left. 2 first-round NHL picks and their captain. Think they want to get a goal?
You get that impression, don't you? Here's Weaver. He'll clear it. Gets it up on the left side. Back the other way come the Raiders. Down over the line. Raiden was beaten. Here's another chance. They go and take a shot. Schill made a big save, or it could have been 4-0.
Oh, that is a very, very big save.
Here comes Nelson back the other way to Semeta. Semeta winds up. Long shot, and that whistling drive went wide. That was Barry Young who fired it. Puck still bouncing around into the corner. They do some pushing. Look out. Semeta drops the gloves. Here we go. Semeta getting into it in the corner. And that's Tony Yob that he's getting into it with. I think maybe an extension of the frustration on the part of the Marlboros.
Well, the funny thing about it is they're both into it, and when you're down 3-0, you don't want Semeta in the penalty box. Not a 50-goal scorer who's had a few games with Boston, has been at the World Junior. You can be sure that that's some excitement.
Well, you know, there'll be a lot of coaches in that situation say nothing against Tony.
Oh, no.
But in a game like this, they'll say, oh, we'll take the trade-off.
That's exactly right. I mean, let's be realistic here with...
I mean, it's 50 goals. It's going to miss 5 minutes.
You know, he didn't put that line together. Terry Martin didn't send those 3 guys out there
to start a fight.
To check and fight. But as you pointed out, Tony just had an excellent chance.
Oh.
Just an excellent chance there when he came down. He beat George Raiden on the right side there, coming down the left wing on the Raiden's right, and then...
turned him inside out.
Oh,
but a great stop by David Schill.
Or it's 4-0.
4-0.
That stop, as a matter of fact, by the goalie could be the Longine Whitnauer play.
Here's a chance offside at the Toronto line. Marley's bringing it in. Joey Simon. 9:28 to go in the period. Of course, we talk about the game in Belleville tonight. Ottawa will be in Peterborough. As you see, Mav, you have to wonder what's happened to that Ottawa club.
I tell you, I was talking to Mav about it, and he said after the game, and who would be, Killer was not, you know, it wasn't the jovial guy. Usually Killer can swing with some punches pretty good. He's been around a long time. But I know the Killer just about as well as anybody. And don't worry, they're not out, I'll tell you that. He's upset about it, and he's going to try and find a way. But they've had a couple of very important losses on the road. Then they're in Peterborough tonight, and Peterborough's playing some of the best hockey I've seen them play.
What was it the other night, 8-2?
Yeah, I don't remember who was in. They won 8-2 against somebody.
Yeah. Back the other way come the Marlies over the line. They're down 3-0 in the first period with 9 minutes to go in the period. Back the other way comes McKillop. McKillop down over the line. That's Brock Woods trying to go through the defense. And Woods spun around. The puck goes into the corner. Armstrong has his man tied up. And Jim Lever will finally blow the play dead. Have you noticed how many times the Kingston defensemen are filling the holes offensively? Here's our quiz. Except for Chris Govidaris and Rob Semeta, name the 4 other Marlboros to be drafted in the first round since 1980.
1980.
We'll let you think about that for a while.
Give me a second here. Yeah, 4 of them drafted since 1980.
And we'd like to also thank Roger Lajoie for coming up with these quizzes. We'll have a couple of more throughout the day, and we'll have an answer to that
1980.
one. You think about it now. I can hear the wood burning from here.
Wouldn't be George Armstrong.
80 pass, not. Puck comes back the other way. The Marlies bring it in. There's a centering pass. Wilson will make the save. Wilson hasn't had a whole lot of work.
Not really, no, not really. He had one drilled beside him there by Semeta, but outside the blue line, and really hasn't had a lot. So I 4 since 1980.
That's right.
How much time do I have there?
Well, how much time do you need?
A week?
I mean, remember, we're off the air at 5 o'clock.
Okay, just tell me when you want the answer, and
you'll what?
I'll give you the answer.
Okay.
But, I mean, just give me a second.
Here's a chance from the point. That shot went wide, and Wilson comes back to circle the other way. Behind the net, Barahowski had his man tied up. The Raiders up on the left side will get rid of it. Cimarello gets it down the ice, and Circa being chased by Jamie Allen. Puck is back the other way for Sukin. Sukin in the corner turns for the Marlboros and waits for Brian Collinson. Collinson up on the left side. Kovacs will come back for the Marlies. Gets it ahead for Govidaris. Over on the other side it goes for Sukin. Sukin trying to get it in front. There's a shot by Circa. They score. It was tipped in front. And the Marlies are on the board in what looked like a pretty harmless play at the beginning. We'll wait and see who gets credit for it.
Put the puck near the net. Circa drills it. Take a look at how much time he's got now. Take a look. Look at him sitting out there. He doesn't know he has that much time. He has enough time to, and it's a deflection off the skate. As you see, as it goes in the net. Much too much time for a guy to,
So it was Kovacs who gets credit for the goal. Circa let the shot go. Kovacs' 11th goal of the year. But I tell you,
the front of the net.
It comes at a big time for the Marlies.
It sure does.
Bad time is for Kingston.
Sure does.
So it's 3-1 in favor of the Kingston Raiders. 7:47 the time remaining in the period. Back to touch it was Kavanaugh. I think he anticipated icing, but there was none. And back the other way comes Joey Simon. Simon in over the line, puts on the brakes, goes to his backhand, rolls it right through the crease. Unable to get a stick on it was Bodnerchuk.
Govidaris is now taking the left spot for Semeta plays, playing with Nelson.
Here's a chance the other way. There's a shot. They score! Mike Bodnerchuk has a terrible, terrible giveaway by the Marlies in their own zone.
22nd goal for Bodnerchuk, and he's come alive. And when you come around, you're in front of the net, move the puck.
What a terrible, terrible
take
play.
a look at it. He's trying to keep the puck to beat people. He's got people open. Now there it is. Now as a matter of fact, he sees he's going to try and slip it through.
And everybody's going the other way.
Yes, sirree. And now look at them all alone. Talk about leaving the right
hole.
Through the 5-hole. Before you say hello, it's back to 4-1.
So Bodnerchuk with his 22nd goal of the year. There's McKillop coming in over the line for the Raiders. So the Marlies get a big emotional lift on a deflection by Kovacs, get right back in the hockey game, and the Raiders come right back and score again. Here's another chance. Davidson goes in. Wilson makes the save. Rebound cleared by Kavanaugh.
I tell you something. We've seen enough.
This game could end up 11-8.
Oh.
Puck bouncing around into the corner. Comes back on the left point for Rob Lease. Takes a long bouncing shot picked up by Mike Kavanaugh of the Raiders. Kavanaugh is hauled down from behind, and there'll be a face-off.
Well, some people would think that might be a penalty call, but he went after.
Here's your answer, Bass.
He, as a matter of fact, went after.
Hey, okay, here's the question
again.
Well, there you go. Except for Chris Govidaris and Rob Semeta, name the 4 other Marlies to be drafted in the first round since 1980. Now, don't look at the screen.
No, I'm not looking at the screen. Well, I know one of them because we could have drafted him in the first round. It's Corabo. You can't. Oh, yeah, Contos, Malone, and DuPont.
not bad. You had 1 out of 4, and that was the last minute.
You didn't have a chance to even think. What are they doing coming up with the answer already? I mean, isn't it the first 9 callers?
No, it was a foregone conclusion. You'd never know, I guess. But a good point, and some good players there. Of course, Corvo now in Washington.
Contos.
There's a pass in front. The puck bounces to Schill. That took a couple of crazy hops. It's still loose.
You talk about a dangerous there. That puck bounced off somebody, and the goaltender was right there.
But how big is that goal by Bodnerchuk?
Wow. It's not only, I'm going to tell you something about, we talk about as we look at Schill here, but with the emotions of the game, it's the way they got that goal. When you're fighting to come back and you make it 3-1 and you have a serious giveaway in front of your net like that, it can't help but affect you a little bit emotionally.
But don't you think, too, on the other side of it, the Marlies down 3-1, they start trying to make that extra play, trying to make the 2Q play. Back the other way. Here's a shot by Kovacs, kicked out. The rebound cleared by Barahowski, made a good defensive play to cover up. Back the other way. On the right side, cleared in by Jason Snow. Collinson hustling back to pick it up, chips it around on the left wing boards for Kovacs. He takes a hit.
Is this
from
a shooting
Snow.
drill? I mean, are we having shooting drills here?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
One on the goaltenders, like...
Here's Circa. Lost it in front. Here's another chance. Oh, and a big save by Schill on a shot by Jason Snow. Grattan gets it in front. Here's another chance. Back the other way come the Marlies. Kovacs will come back for the Marlies and clip it in off Wilson. Sukin goes after it, clears it at the side of the net. The Marlies get it back. Here's a chance for the Raiders. They have a 2-on-1 break. Coming back, it's Doucette or Mark Major. Major goes in, backhand shot. He was hauled down, goes sliding into the boards. And back the other way comes Grattan. Major digs it out of the corner, slaps it off the boards, and the Marlies with Jackson on it. Jackson checked off the puck. It's still bouncing loose. And the Raiders inside their own line will move it to center. Cleared by Shayak back into the Toronto zone as we approach the 15-minute mark of this opening period. They'll tie it up back of the Kingston net. They're jamming away after it. Finally, it's blown dead. 5:02 to go in the period. It's 4-1 Kingston in our OHL game of the week. Returns after this message. 4-1 lead.
That Schill has made 3 point-blank saves and 3 guys in all alone.
Or it could be a lot higher than it is.
Oh, might need a calculator.
The Marlies will clear it up on the left side. They center it in front. The Raiders do. Tipped off on the other wing and cleared, but knocked down at the point by Shayak. Did a good job of keeping it in. It's still bouncing around. Finally, bounced off one of the linesmen. Back at center it goes. And the Raiders bring it down and over the line again. We're going to have a penalty called against the Marlies as Jim Lever has the arm up. As Jack Miller mentioned, Jimmy will be a guest in our next intermission. I was kidding Jimmy before the game. I said it's rather fitting, I think, that you're going to retire after this game. He might do some playoff games, but retire in a game that is the last one that the Marlies will play. 63 years of history. And, of course, I sarcastically suggested that maybe
he's here for the opener.
That's right.
There, we're going to get a look here at this penalty where he's, where he's absolutely dragged down, and Jimmy's got to call that.
Clayton Martin.
And he'll serve 2. You can be sure of that, for his hooking penalty. And now we're going to see the power play with 4:34. Oh, wait a sec. This is a family day because his daughter Kelly
does the statistics for us and has done a great job all year.
You met her? You know her, do you?
Yes, right.
She is retiring today. Graduate of University of Toronto, going to graduate from Durham College's sports administration program and go on to get a job refereeing.
Not if her mother has anything to say about it. The puck bouncing around. Here's a chance for the Raiders. They'll get it back. Weber winds up, takes a shot that was blocked. Barahowski can't get to it, stays with it, knocks it down. And the Marlies don't get it out. Bodnerchuk threw it across on the other side. And Armstrong for Toronto gets rid of it down the ice. 1 minute and 35 seconds left in the penalty to Martin of the Marlies. 4:07 to go in this first period. And the Raiders with a 4-1 lead. Barahowski back to pick it up in his own zone. Pass up on the wing. Comes back the other way with it for Simon. Simon comes down over the line, puts on the brakes. Barahowski moves in, comes out of a corner with it. Drops it back to Weber. Weber to Wayne Doucette. Doucette takes a shot. Schill got a piece of it off the glass and down the ice it goes. 1:05 left in the penalty to Martin is Barahowski. Back to pick it up on the right side off McKillop's stick, and a Marlies shoot it down the ice. Jeff Circa getting rid of it. Less than a minute to go in the penalty.
Well, needless to say, you'd think this early in the game couldn't be a big power play, but it sure could be.
Puck comes back in the point. Barahowski throws it over to Waver. Waver takes a shot that was blocked in front. Doucette slaps it off the boards. Back into the corner it goes. The Raiders try to center it. McKillop can't get to it. Intercepted by the Marlies, and they'll flip it down the ice with 30 seconds left in the penalty and 3 minutes to go in the opening period. A 4-1 Kingston lead as Waver turns behind his own net, picked up by Nelson. And the Marlies, an effective job of penalty killings. Up on the wing, the Raiders will try it again. That doesn't work. Back at the Toronto line, Marlies down the ice with it. And the penalty to Martin just about over.
Very effective job of killing it off.
Waver in the corner having trouble. Picked up, comes back on the left point for Leask. He takes a weak shot, deflected, a rebound, hit the post. I think Nelson's shot hit the post. Or bounced off the goaltender
right
Wilson. The Raiders get rid of it. That came just as the penalty had expired. There's a chance. Over the line comes John Davidson. Davidson spun around, flips it behind the net. The Marlies trying to get something going. Turcotte couldn't get anywhere, and back it goes at center for Rob Leask with 2 minutes to go in this opening period. Long bouncing shot picked off by Brock Shayak. Shayak just rolls it back out to center. Tipped too far for Govidaris. Comes back on the right side for Jamie Allen. On the right wing for Jackson. Tipped away, and Jackson will try it again. Clears it in. That's Davidson going after it behind the net. Shayak clears it out, comes bouncing back to the point, kept in by the Marlies. Turcotte throws it in front, intercepted by Allen, and he just bounces it off the boards at center. Collinson ties up his man. There's some pushing going on there. And we have a minute and 20 seconds to go. Brad Gratton takes a look, feeds it over on the other side, tried to send his man away. That was Jason Snow, didn't work. And the Marlies bounce it up at center. Barahowski gets it over on the other side. Waver clears it back into the Toronto zone. Barahowski drives it back in on the delayed offside. And Circa for the Marlies with a minute to go in the first period. Here's Turcotte coming down over the line, ridden out of the play, picked off by Brad Gratton. Gratton takes a look, turns at his own line at center. A long shot goes wide of the net, picked off by the goaltender Schill. Will leave it for his defenseman with 40 seconds to go in the period. Long pass is tipped over now from Nelson to Semeta. Semeta ridden out of the play, and it's cleared back into the Marley zone. Raiders will shoot it right back in with 30 seconds to go in the period. Circa is there, and back the other way comes Semeta for the Marlies. Semeta down over the line, drops it back to Nelson. We got a penalty called against Kingston for interference behind the play, a major, I believe, as he knocked off the Marley player behind the play. Interference is the call from Mr. Lever.
Mr. Lever right on top. You know, those are the kind of penalties you don't want to take when you're in a tough game, and especially with 19 seconds to go. You can be sure that Mav won't be happy with that call.
And of course, Jim will be in talking to Jack Miller in our first intermission, and also George Armstrong.
Oh.
So do you think there's some vintage history there?
You talk about some history of hockey and history of this building.
Each one of them had their own library in terms of the chapters and contributions they have made.
Jack will do a good job of that, too.
There's a chance in front, rolls wide of the Kingston net. 12 seconds to go in the period. Marlies working on the power play. Collinson hustles after to keep it in at the point. Threw it back into the corner. They try to center it in front, and it goes all the way back to center, and that'll do it. First period is over, 4-1 in favor of the Kingston Raiders. We suggested that the Raiders left of the Kingston penalty to Mark Major. So here we go. Second period is underway. Collinson has it at the Toronto line, clears it up on the right side, and Jackson threw it back in his own zone, and Davidson will have to go back and regroup and feed it over to Brian Collinson.
Collinson got the Scholastic Player of the Year for the third year in a row.
There's a shot from the point. Collinson took it, was kicked out by the goaltender Jeff Wilson. Comes back to Davidson. Davidson throws it back in the corner. Marley's working on the power play. It goes back around into the corner on the other side. Back on the right point for Collinson. He'll knock it down. Feeds it back behind the net. John Nelson is there. Nelson waits. Holds on to it, takes it to the corner. Nelson still has it, tried to bounce it in front, gets it back again. Nelson waits. Then he lost possession, and the Raiders get rid of it down the ice. You have to think from a Kingston point of view that there'll be a big sigh of relief if they can get by this first minute, killing this penalty off. Here's Davidson back in the Toronto zone to regroup. Down through the middle, long pass goes by everybody.
It's got to be icing.
will go back, and we'll have an icing called. 37 seconds left in the penalty to Major. 18:56 to go in the period. Still 4-1 Kingston.
Bring back those memories that...
Get some pizza. Come on down, he said. Come on down, but there'll be no bid, but come on down. And he's going to sit there for 2 minutes for hooking.
And we talked about how important killing it off for Kingston was, as much, maybe more so, for Toronto here. Berehowski clears it up on the right side. Young will slap it back at center. Berehowski can't get anywhere. The Marlies will flip it back into the Kingston zone. Wilson will wait for Jeff Waver.
Marley's using that Barry Young, who was a minor pick. He's got 4 years eligibility on the killing and important penalties. To tell you how they feel from the Hamilton West Phantoms.
No, they'll be playing at home next year.
Yes. Yes, he will be.
Back to Berehowski over on the other side for Waver. Waver backs it up. Clears it up on the right side. And here's Grattan. Grattan gets around one man. Trying to get it in front for Doucette. Went behind him. And on the right side, it's cleared by the Marlies. Goes bouncing all the way down the ice. And Wilson, the goaltender, leaves it for Waver. Then Waver knocks Sukin down. And Grattan flips it around on the right side. Here's McKillop. Can't get anywhere. Grattan will try it at his own line at center. Grattan comes down over the line. Has McKillop trailing. Grattan holds on to it. Turns in the corner. Watched by Young. Clears it for Wayne Doucette. Doucette tried to get it in front. And the goaltender, Schill, will hold it on the post for a face-off. And you see Larry Mavety.
We almost see Larry Mavety. Garth Joy is one of his overage players and a real heck of a kid. Very, very good hockey player. I don't think you wouldn't, for that experience that he has. And there is Larry Mavety with his back to us saying, get another goal.
Well, if he's yelling today, he's doing it in a very hoarse voice.
And doing it.
But even Mav with a hoarse voice could be still heard in Cleveland.
Well, it'll shake the whole all the gold seats, I'll tell you that.
Puck comes back at the right point, kept in by the Raiders. 50 seconds left in the penalty, cleared in front, but not out. Here's a chance for Bodnerchuk. Tried to get it in front. There's a shot, another shot. Schill holds up. The puck is loose. They bang away at it, and the Marlboros will get it and clear it down the ice.
I don't know who's doing the shots, but there was 4 there for sure.
The Raiders with some good chances. Here's Jeff Waver coming down over the Marley line. Waver tried to get it over the other side, intercepted, and back come the Marlies. A lead pass intended for Nelson too far. Wilson will play it. He'll clear it back of the net. Rolls it around on the right side with 12 seconds left in the penalty. The Raiders come back. Here's Mark Major in over the line. Major holds on to it, waits, bounces it around on the other point, and it's cleared out. Here's Nelson picking it up. Waver will get back. The penalty to Circa is over. Circa joins the play. Shot by Nelson, tipped upstairs off of Waver. 4.5 minutes gone into the second period. There's our score. We'll come right back. Last night, Niagara Falls beating the Platers 3-2. 8-5 Kingston over the 67s. Kitchener beats the Sioux. London doubles the Bay.
Niagara Falls will like the fact that score was corrected, especially when it is correct.
Well, they are now tied with the Kitchener Rangers for first place in the M's division.
When can you remember in the OHL races like you're seeing here?
Well, I'll tell you, we got some great races, and the thing is, it's not just at one part of the standings or the other. It's top to bottom. There's battles within battles here. Puck going into the corner. The Raiders tried to center it in front, cleared around, comes back on the right point. Shot back in by Brock Woods. The Raiders back to Woods at the point again. Takes the shot, goes wide. The rebound picked off by Circa. Clips it around on the right side. And Gavaderis will try it. Gavaderis comes back in over the line. Here's a shot. They score. And it's 4-2. Well, the Marlies needed something, and there it is.
You're going to see right along the ice now. That was almost offside. very close to being offside. Now it's just thrown over by Costello, and Carcé Sameta says, hey, give me the puck around the net, and I'll find a way for it to go in. And before you know it, he's got his 51st. Wow, there's some happy fans there for, I guess you would know that it's John Nelson, number 11, and fortunately we got all the numbers.
Well, Sameta gets his 51st. You know, you wondered about the way the Raiders, you know, you come out with a 3-goal lead, and I know that, Larry, they're going to change goaltenders right here, but I bet you any money that what Mav is trying to do is he's trying to just kind of calm things down. Gauthier comes out for a warm-up, and don't be surprised if 5 minutes from now, 2 minutes from now, he comes right back with Wilson again.
Yeah.
But did you think, you know, you've done this yourself. You sit in the dressing room and you say, okay, you got a 3-goal lead. Don't try to play too defensive. Keep going after them. Do the things that got you the 4-1 lead, and they all nod at you. 20 guys go, yeah, and they go right out and play defensively.
That's right, and they all crouch up there with their knees bent.
They choke up on the stick.
Play second goaltenders, and goodbye, Marlies. I guess so. There's a number of them that are going to wish the best, and as I was talking before, Barry Young, number 28, the Hamilton West Bantams, is going home. And the hometown fans in Hamilton are going to enjoy watching him, because he's got a bright future, that young man.
And, of course, the general manager of the Hamilton franchise, Dave Draper, will be dropping by to talk to Jack Miller in our next intermission.
And Dave Draper, who general managed a gold medal winning team in the World Junior, and a heck of a guy.
And no stranger to this league.
Certainly isn't. Had another Memorial Cup winner as a manager with Bert Templin as a coach. And he's a heck of a person. That's the big thing. He's a class guy.
Good to have him back in the league.
Sure is.
Puck is tipped back into the Toronto zone. Collinson will clear it. So Gauthier has taken over from Wilson in the Kingston net. There's a collision. Back the other way comes Jeff Waver. Waver going right through the defense. Waver goes in. Schill tipped it off his stick, and the Marlies will come back the other way with it. Here's a chance for Sukin. Sukin has Jackson trailing. Jackson heads to the net. Sukin holds on to it, waits, throws it back across, and it went by everybody. And Circa, being chased back at his own zone, has it. And his pass comes bouncing back down to the Kingston line as we approach the 6-minute mark of this period, all the way down the ice. This could be icing as Collinson goes back to touch it. That's what we have.
Number 3 for the Marlies here, we see Collinson. I talked about it. We had a feature last week on his paintings. This guy's a talented young man on and off the ice.
There's our score. We'll come right back. Well, there you see Jeff Wilson doesn't look too happy, so perhaps Gauthier is going to stay in there.
Yes, and he looks fairly relaxed sitting there, but inside saying, guess I should have had that last time. At least Mav thinks so.
Puck is chopped around the boards in the Kingston zone. Raiders trying to get it out. They have a 4-2 lead, 13:45 to go in the period. Kavanaugh feeds it across. A backhand shot blocked by Schill on McKillop, and he'll cover up on a rebound. And a little talking going on at the side of the Marley net.
Well, you know, just a short couple of minutes ago, on that power play, Kingston had a flurry around that net there. I counted 2 rebounds plus the original shot, and he made all those saves.
Well, the game seesaws back and forth. Here's Kavanaugh, shot from the point, stopped by Schill, rebound in front, cleared away, and the puck still bouncing loose. McKillop goes back to the net, tried to wrap it around, and Schill covers up. I'll tell you, Schill, since it was 4th goal by the Raiders, has had to keep this club in a hockey game.
Tell you, they've had a tough time, and they're thinking about it, trying to get that 5th. And he's the reason why. Watch the wraparound there. He's right there and says, we're going to get a whistle as Leash pushes McKillop. McKillop, every time I watch him play, comes to play hard all the time. Now, Marlies are bringing out a line again. Nelson, Kovaderis,
and Sameta. They want some offense. Puck bounces off Sameta, still rolling around along the boards, controlled by the Marlboros. Here's Armstrong. In his own zone. Armstrong clears it up down through the middle. It goes for Sameta. Samata comes over the line. Offside was Gutierrez. And we'll have a face-off. There you see Mr. Mavety.
Giving some direction out there, saying,
you know,
nothing fancy.
You could read his mind. He never even has to say anything. You know what he's thinking, right?
Right.
Would you say he's a very animated type of guy?
Well, slightly. You can certainly tell. Does he ever speak with expression?
Face off with the Kingston line. The Raiders have it. 13 minutes to go in the second period. 4-2 for the Raiders. And the Raiders have it at center. They'll just throw it in. Doucette gets rid of it. McKillop goes after it. Cleared. Bounces out to center. Berehowski will drive it right back in again. The Raiders clear the zone. Doucette trying to do some forechecking. Cleared. Back along the boards. And back the other way comes Nelson. Nelson and Samata. 2-on-2. Gutierrez trying to catch up. Was dumped. Nelson spins to get around Berehowski. And back the other way come the Raiders with it. They'll tip it down through the middle. They have a man breaking on the right. Look out. That was McKillop goes after the long pass. Watched by Samata. McKillop turns, tried to center. It does. Collinson cleared it into a crowd. Puck comes back to the point, kept in, bounces back at center. Couple of people overskated. Here's Doucette, ridden out of the play by Circa, and Collinson's long pass tipped away at center by Bodnarchuk. Bodnarchuk gets it down through the middle, couldn't hit Simon with it. Back the other way comes Collinson. Over the line, Samata fakes the shot, heads to the corner. Samata throws it back right point. Collinson takes the shot. Cleared by Gauthier, and he'll cover up. 11:54 to go in the second period. 4-2 Raiders.
Well, Becker's one of the best corporate citizens our Ontario Hockey League is known, and special corporate people like that makes this league as successful as it is.
Puck is cleared up along the left wing boards. Major just rolled it to center, then gets it back again. Pass down through the middle, tried to send his man away. And the puck bounces right to David Schill. He'll make the save and cover up.
You know, Mike Bodnarchuk, who's a graduate of the Bramalea Junior Bs, number 7 right there. We look at him. Hey, this guy is just going to go number 1 in the draft.
To Oshawa.
Oshawa Junk. And he says, I don't care. I'm not interested right now. Just get me some popcorn.
A minor midget.
Yes.
Puck bouncing around in front of the net, cleared off into the corner. And back come the Marlies. On the right side with it is Turcotte in over the line, ridden out of the play. Major goes in to help out, kicks the puck loose, then cleared it, doesn't get it out the first time. Now it bounces to Davidson. Davidson dumps it right back into the Kingston zone. Around the boards it goes. It's spun into the corner, centered in front. Backhand shot by Davidson, stopped by Gauthier. Rebound behind the net as the Marlies buzz around. Comes back to the point. There's a shot. The rebound bounces in front. Still loose. Backhand shot is cleared. Marlies with some excellent pressure. Armstrong's shot is blocked. Back the other way comes Major. Major hauled down by Armstrong. We're going to have a penalty here. Boy, the Marlies came awful close to making it 4-3.
Awful close. There was open nets, and the goalie was down and out of position. And I'll tell you what, that whole team will be watching that if it's significant at the end of the game.
But Armstrong got caught in no man's land.
Yes. And you see now Major driving for the net. Armstrong says, I think he's got me beat, and he drags him down. And, hey, there's no question about that. Now, the Marlies have been pretty effective. While Armstrong sits this 2 minutes out, the Marlies have been pretty effective killing penalties off the last couple.
But there could be a message in the next 2 minutes. If the Raiders can get another one, the Marlies have worked all this way to stay even.
That's a good point. And
on the other hand, if they kill it off and get the third one, here we go. Puck comes back on the right point. Berehowski throws it over to Weber. Weber winds up, takes the shot. Schill made the save, then took a peek behind him as he got his pad out to make the save and then covered up on a rebound.
The shot looked harmless, but the save didn't. Well, you know, these are the specialty face-offs, too, that they pay attention to. And
had a look at the concern on the Toronto bench. Here's Weber back at the point. He'll drill it. Schill makes the save. Rebound goes in front. That shot was wide. Marlies get it. And down the ice it goes with 1 minute and 38 seconds left in the penalty to Armstrong. Gauthier will set it up for Berehowski. Up on the wing for Weber. Back on the other side, intercepted. Here's a chance for the Marlies. Sukin couldn't get to the pass across. Sukin gets it back again. And we'll take it for a skate. Drop it back to Circa to Collinson. Intended. And intercepted now by Grattan. Grattan's pass was blocked. Here's a chance for the Marlies coming back the other way, and they overskate it. And the Raiders with Barahowski. Barahowski comes down over the line. Puts on the brakes. Into the corner it goes for Tony Yob. Grattan moves in to try to help out. Here's Yob staying with it along the boards against Collinson. Collinson will fall on it. And Jim Lever will blow the play dead.
Wow, there's been some careless play here on both ends there. We saw some careless play there in the Kingston end, a little bit carefree. Fortunately, they survived out of that, and then right back down here, there's a little bit of carefree play.
Michael Ryer, as you see him there, had a couple of pretty good chances. He and Greg Sukin.
I'll tell you, they certainly did. And, a chance there for a 2-on-1, only at the wrong end when you got a power play.
And
not the wrong end as far as the Marlies are concerned.
You can be sure that you see Mr. Mavity is having some words.
Not
of encouragement, redirection. Here's Nelson off the boards down the ice. 45 seconds left in the penalty to Armstrong. 9:40 to go, second period. The Raiders lead 4-2. Cleared by Doucette. Into the Marley zone, back to pick it up and cleared. It gets by Barahowski. He'll have to back it up and throw it over to Jeff Weber. Weber's pass on the right side to McKillop. Beats one man and cleared down the ice by Jason Winch. Boy, did he score a goal here last week.
Did he drill it?
Here's Weber coming up across his own line of center. Hits the Marley line. Puts on the brakes. Tried to go backdoor with it. Lost it. Here's the chance the other way. Here's Winch coming down. He has a man going with him. That's Nelson. Goes in. Scores! John Nelson's 37th of the year, shorthanded on a setup from Jason Winch.
And a very important goal. Tell you, when you got that puck inside that blue line, now you'll see them coming down here 2-on-1, and very, very patiently, very well done by Winch, and then over to Nelson, makes it clear, and it's in the net. That, to me, could be one Gene Whitnard play, because it was done very well. And Jason Winch did a nice soft pass over the stick. See you later. It's in the net. 4-3.
And a shorthanded goal in Nelson's 37th of the year. Now the penalty to the Marlies is over. So they have not only killed off the penalty, they have scored in the process. Puck going back, and the net bodies are sliding everywhere in the corner. Shayak moves up. And it back the other way for Rob Lee, Jeff Circa. Circa's pass for Armstrong. Armstrong comes down over the line. Here's a chance. Scored! And this game is tied.
We certainly have a new hockey game. We have a fight going over with all the fans excited about it, and there you see it. And Jeff Circa and Mark Major went at it. But in the meantime, it's a 4-4 game.
We're going to have a look at this goal now.
You're going to see the replay here. Now, as the puck comes up the ice, take a look. They go to clear it. They don't really clear it. It's thrown up. Now, there's still pursuit of the puck, and it just tipped by the goalie. Although there's some discussion here, and the goal is not been put up on the score.
Well, it isn't up on the board yet, so we'll see what the interpretation is. Let's maybe we look at it again. We can see
this,
what.
Now take a look here. The puck is thrown up, and apparently with the fight broken up, Lever was there, and
The
you'll
fight
see
broke
originally in the screen that they went at it. See it tipped here, right into the corner of the net. But Jim Lever, who's on the play, says no goal.
So it's not going to count because the fight had broken out.
That's right, and he was on the play, and when you saw in our replay, and our camera people with that wide angle had the whole play, you could see Mark Major and Jeff Circa going to get into it. And give Lever credit, that's a gutsy call to call.
And there's no argument from the Marlies.
No.
So that's for two reasons.
I'll tell you one thing, there's an argument by the coach.
Well, there's no argument because that's probably the right play. And the second reason for no argument is that Mr. Lever made it.
Yes. Very well.
Puck comes back on the right point, bouncing towards the net. Here's another shot. That went wide of Schill. The rebound comes back to Shayak, and the other side gets by him. And here comes Sameta. Sameta spun around. He's down. He lost his stick. He'll kick it to the net, and the puck goes bouncing over the net off Nelson, who centers it. Sameta broke in all alone and tried to play soccer
kicked
style.
It over to Nelson.
Here's a chance the other way, coming back. A drop pass stopped by Schill. Rebound. As Schill has made some big saves to keep the Marlies in this hockey game.
Talking about scoring chance.
Here's a chance for Sameta. Sameta turns, centers it in front, backhand shot. This one will count.
Oh. That is a play.
That
is a Lon Gene Whitnauer play, I'll tell you. Now, watch Nelson make the play here, too. Sameta goes to the opening. Now, Nelson says, I'm going to the opening, too. And we got a 4-4 game here all of a sudden.
Well, Nelson at both ends of that play. He started it and he finished it.
Well, he also got the other goal to make it 4-3. Do you think he's been a significant factor here?
This number 16, Christy Vidal, and number 24, Ron Sameta.
So we have a 4-4 tie. 7 minutes, 39 seconds to go
Christy Vidal and Ron Sameta
in the second period. So the Marlies with their fourth goal in a row, third one that will count.
David Schill has been very significant in this 4-4 tie.
There's a long shot. Schill makes the save. Rebound bouncing in front. And the Marlies clear it out to center. And Barahowski will drive it right back in again. And back the other way it goes. Marlies come back. Here's a shot. That one went blistering over the top of the net off the glass. Raiders clear it out to center. This game has so much emotion and can change so dramatically from 1 minute to the next. Kingston looked like they were in the driver's seat. There's a shot grabbed by Gauthier. Looked like they had the whole thing under control. Now 6:53 in the period. We're tied at 4.
There's a change in goaltenders again.
Wilson is back.
Yes. Thanks to Ted Baker with his 5 eyes.
There's Radan's shot from the point. Goes whistling wide. Welcome back. Puck is cleared back of the net. The Marlies going to work here. A 4-4 tie. Cleared back behind the net. Sukin on it for the Marlies. Being chased by the Raiders. And Kingston trying to get it out. Radan can't get to it. Picked up by Michael Ryer. Back into the Kingston zone it goes. And Shayak is there to clear it to center. Young back at his own line. Clears it ahead. Here's another chance for Sukin. Sukin comes down over the line. Feeds it across. And unable to get the stick down on it was Mike Jackson. And the goaltender. Here we go. Shayak is going after Jackson after the goaltender Wilson was run over by Jackson. That's why Shayak went after him.
Yeah, you can be sure of that. He's right there after him, and no question about it. They're right over the Marley bench.
This is going to be interesting to see what's called here.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be interesting as to what's called. I think there's been some emotion here today. As we see now, really, I don't think he went into him intentionally. He was coming across. You're going to see he's going for the pass. Now, as the pass is a little behind him, he's really cutting in there, and the goalie coming over. But nobody will accept anybody running over your goaltender, accident or no accident.
Well, I think in a situation like that, if you go back to the bench and tell the coach that you were willing to give the guy the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, like I think it was an accident, coach. Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to be the guy telling Mavity that.
No. So that'll be 5 apiece. Settle her down.
Obviously, Jim Lever didn't think there was any intent.
No.
Kingston penalty number 17, John Shayak.
Actually, Kingston gets an extra 2 minutes.
Number 17, Mike Jackson, 5 minutes for fighting.
So he certainly,
49.
And Mav is not happy.
he certainly felt that the original was certainly not intentional, obviously.
Toronto, Mike Jackson.
And now somebody's going to have to serve that
49.
extra 2 minutes.
So the Marlies are going to come out of this with a power play. We're tied at 4 with 6:11 to go in the second period.
And do you think we're going to see a few shooters out there on that power play for the Marlies? Davidson who's their overage player and was their first pick, graduate of the Nats, number 12. John Nelson, who's got two, will center between Govadaris and Sameta, 2 first-round picks.
And
Govadaris
Collinson on the right point.
And Collinson, who's been a 3-year significant player, scholastic player of the year, good offensive player.
And most popular player on the team
And
this year.
should be, too.
Puck comes back to Collinson, back on the other side for Davidson. Nelson along the boards, gets it back to Davidson, back to Nelson. Marlies working on the power play. Davidson winds up, takes the shot. Wilson got a piece of it. Rebound controlled by Govadaris. Govadaris holds on to it, throws it back on the other side. Davidson will tee it up. Wilson makes the save. Rebound is cleared, not out. Davidson gets it in for Nelson. Nelson back to Collinson. Collinson back to Nelson. Nelson moves in, takes the shot, blocked by the defenseman. Weaver tips it over on the other side. Sameta doing some checking along the boards, cleared but not out. Here's Davidson. Davidson to Collinson. Collinson winds up. That shot went wide. Rebound comes back to Davidson at the point. Over on the other side it goes, back to Collinson at the right point. That shot drilled in front. Rebound is cleared down the ice by Joey Simon. 1:05 left in the Kingston Raider penalty. 5:13 to go in the period. Here's a pass for Sameta. Sameta spun around inside the Kingston zone, gets it back to Govadaris. We're going to have another penalty called, a delayed penalty called against the Raiders. Shot by Collinson over the net off the glass. And an intelligent play there by John Nelson, because he knew that there was a delayed penalty call, so he gave Kingston the puck.
Yes.
The Kingston guy also knows that there's going to be a whistle.
He doesn't want to touch it. That was Farahowski, so we could have sat here for 4 minutes in a silent prayer.
46 seconds left in the extra penalty to Kingston. Now they're going to get another 2 minutes. And have to play 2 men short.
He grabbed him, you know, and we talked about, we're going to see it here. Actually, it's across the other side. This is the one he called.
Pretty good slash on Sameta by Wayne Doucette.
Wow, I'll tell you, the camera people right on that again, and there he is, and it was a good shot.
So there you see the crowded penalty box.
Wow.
And now the Marlies will go to work.
A chance to get back into or to take control of the game. I've never understood throwing that puck along the ice like that. Why not use the boards hard and clear it out when you got that opening?
Here's Govadaris with it. Govadaris throws it at the side of the net. They try to center it. Cleared by Barahusky. Barahusky off the boards. Collinson keeps it in. Chops it across. Nelson goes after it. 24 seconds left in it. That's right. Here's a chance in front by Govadaris. Blocked. Picked up by the Raiders off the glass and down to the Toronto blue line it goes. Davidson cleared it. And Govadaris will come back. 10 seconds left of the first Kingston minor. Here's Govadaris heading to the net. Drops it back for Sameta. Sameta winds up. Wilson made the save. Didn't know where the rebound was. It's still loose, and Sameta goes after it. And Wilson a little upset because he figured that Sameta had dug enough that he could have irrigated a large ditch with it.
Yes, he was there. Now, Sameta, when you're going to give it to somebody and you got a guy, now take a look at what he is. I mean, and look at where, hey, and that goalie comes out the start. He's looking for it, too, back there. Then they're trying to get it. Now it's right there loose. Sameta says, I still want it. I don't hear a whistle. And very significant this next 2 seconds to get at least one man back on the ice here.
2 seconds left in the first Kingston minor. 1:16 left in the second to Wayne Doucette. And the face-off to the left of Jeff Wilson. Puck bouncing around in the face-off circle. Out of the penalty box. The Raiders are now just the one-man short. Cleared by Simon, but not out. Kept in by Jason Winch. Winch threw it across. This shot went just wide by Turcotte. I don't know if Wilson got a piece of that or not.
Right over the
top of the net. So one man Short. Here's a shot. In front it goes. They try to feed it into a crowd. Wilson is down and he'll cover up. And the Marlies are going to the net, and the Raiders getting a little upset with the liberties that they might be taking on Jeff Wilson.
Wow. See a little heat around that net, don't we?
50 seconds left in the penalty to Doucette.
Michael Ryer there saying, I want the front of the net. Well, we talk about momentum and what can happen to you, they kill these 2 penalties off. They got something to be feeling pretty good about. Today's attendance, 5,000. If they'd have had that on a regular basis, this may be here for another 63 years.
5,500 here last week.
4,700 to see you.
4,700 of your relatives. Face-off will be to the right of Wilson. 50 seconds left in the penalty to Doucette. Here's a chance. Tipped away back into the Marley zone. There's a race for it. Collinson knocked his man off the puck. That was Bodnarchuk. And the Marlies up on the right side. Davidson. Davidson checked off the puck by Simon. Simon comes down over the line. Simon takes the shot. Shield comes out of the net. Makes the save, and Semeta comes back for the Marlies with the rebound. Semeta down over the line. He's got Guvederas breaking to the net. The pass didn't get through. Nelson keeps it in. Throw it across. Bodnarchuk will go after it and drive it up into the crowd. Boy, a 3-on-2, and they're the 3 guys you want in a situation like that. Nelson, Guvederas, and Semeta, and you don't get a shot off.
Well, there's a time to be patient, but there's a time to be too patient. How much time can you take here? And they were really trying to set this thing up. They're coming in there, and everybody trying to get open. And John Nelson, number 11 for the Marlies, he played a lot of hockey here, killing penalties and power plays. And 15 seconds left to kill this power play off for the Kingston Raiders, and they've been shorthanded 2 men and then 1, and they feel like they've been shorthanded
for an hour and a half
since they started junior hockey.
Puck is inside the line. Pass is tipped away, and it's cleared down the ice. That should just about do it as far as the penalty to Doucette is concerned. Armstrong behind the net, chased by McKillop, gets it ahead for Nelson. Nelson got around a check, and
this penalty is over.
Penalty is over. The Raiders back at full strength. Guvederas kicks it ahead for Nelson. The Marley captain bounces it back into the Kingston zone, and Jeff Waver goes after it. Whistled down, knocked down with a high stick. 2:39 to go in the period. We're tied at 4, and the OHL game of the week returns after this message. The Marlies trying to clear it out on the right wing. We're 4-4 with a little more than 2 minutes to go in the period. Puck bouncing around here. Sukin trying to get somebody in front. Spun around. Still loose. Sukin took a shot through the crease. Comes out the other way. Comes back on the point. Armstrong will clear it. Rolls back behind the net. And Barahowski clears it off the boards. Goes all the way down the ice. And Rob Lease will go back to get it for the Marlies.
Kingston Raiders haven't had good scoring chances, although they've been shorthanded for a while. Not the type of chances that the Marlies have had, certainly lately.
Here's a chance back inside the Marley zone. Goes up on the right side for Sukin, knocked off his stick. McKillop tried to get it. Here's Sukin trying to get loose, and back the other way comes McKillop. McKillop comes down over the line, winds up that shot, deflected into the seats. A minute and a half to go in the period. Let's check now. Here's Jack Miller.
Thanks very much, Dave Quinn. Coming up during our second intermission, we'll be chatting with Dave Draper, who returns to Hamilton along with the OHL for next season. As well, this week on our Beehive Supergrad series, Mike Anscombe chats with former Marley Peter Zezel, now with the St. Louis Blues, and our OHL Winter Car Shootout. Now back upstairs.
Thanks, Jackson. A minute and a half to go in the period. 4-4. Marlies and the Kingston Raiders. Raiders led 4-1 at the end of a period. Looked like they had things under control.
Well, every game we've done here in the Gardens, we could have given away about 4 or 5 runs. Gene Whitmore watching. There's been some good play.
On both sides, here's Doucette trying to throw it across the other way. The Marlies have it. And they'll chip it back into the Kingston zone. Wilson out of the net. Wheels it around on the right side, and McKillop is there. McKillop doesn't get it out the first time. Second time, the Raiders have it. Up on the other side, McKillop drops it back on the point. There's a wrist shot that goes wide. Back of the net. Cleared. Back down it goes into the Kingston zone. Doucette after it with less than a minute to go in the period. Doucette turns, Chops it up at center. Intercepted by the Marlies, and they'll just flip it back down to the Kingston line. Raiders in turn. Jeff Weaver. Weaver turns. Then he banks it off the boards. They'll waive the icing. And Young back to get it at the side of the Marley net. Young's pass for Jeff Turcotte. Turcotte over on the left side. Over the line. There's a shot. Stopped by Wilson. Rebound controlled by the Raiders. 25 seconds to go in the period. Jeff Circa backs it up at his own line for the Marlies, who are making changes. Tip back down into the Kingston zone. There's a race for it. Nelson goes after it. Nelson turns, puts on the brakes. Nelson throw it across. Here's a chance by Govaderis, and he's fired it wide. Young moves up. 8 seconds to go in the period. Back of the Kingston net. Cleared. Comes bouncing by Circa, and that will do it as the second period will wind down.
Well, what can you say here? There's no question. This has been a very exciting period. We have a 4-1 game, and all of a sudden now it's 4-4 with some pressure on. Both clubs want to win here, not just traditionally to get a win, because it means something a lot to both hockey clubs.
Well, the Kingston Raiders fighting for their playoff lives, can't afford to lose. The Marlies still with a shot at third place. A lot to gain.
I guess so, and I'll tell you what.
And the Marlies with 3 unanswered goals in the second. Here's Sameta coming down over the Kingston line, puts on the brakes. The pass goes outside the line. Circa will back it up. And the Raiders will try to get something going the other way. Here's Bodnerchuk breaking in all alone. Bodnerchuk, and he fired it just wide as he broke in on his off wing. Bodnerchuk with a good chance to put the Raiders back in front. Major goes back to the net, centers it in front. Bodnerchuk, his shot was blocked by the defense, and the Marlies will come back the other way with it.
Bodnerchuk's had a couple of really good chances.
Nelson's pass for Sameta went behind him, and back on the right side comes Simon. Simon
trying to hit that late man coming in. You notice that fading away and over the blue line.
Well, I thought in the first period the Kingston defense really jumped into the play offensively, and they didn't do it in the second period. I think that allowed the Marlies to get back in the hockey game.
You know,
here's Kavanaugh.
That short-handed
to make it 4-3 is a big goal.
4-3 is.
Play whistle down. We see the statistics in the second period. Sameta from Govaderis and Martin. Nilsson from Winch, and then Nelson again from Sameta and Jeff Circa. The shots on goal, 14-10 for the Marlies. Even. 24 apiece after 40 minutes.
You know, Bodnerchuk's been in a few times alone. You know, he could have a hat trick here today, too. He's had some chances.
He's played well.
Certainly has.
Jeff Weaver with a pair. Here's Shayak back to pick it up behind his own net. Shayak falls down. He's on top of the puck, but the puck comes loose. Right in front it goes. They score, and it's 5-4. Jason Wentz. And the Marlies have taken a 5-4 lead.
And a significant 5-4 lead there. Now take a look. You can't leave a guy. 2 guys down behind. If you got to get there, you got to get that puck. Now it's loose, and the defenseman goes for it. Now take a look at how much time he's got. Upstairs in the corner, no question. And it's 5-4 Toronto.
Well, the key to that play is that Shayak fell down, was trying to control the puck underneath him. It popped loose. Then the pass to Winch in the slot went right between the Kingston player's legs.
Left him alone there.
So the Raiders down 5-4 as the Marlboros have taken their first lead. A long shot tipped away by Schill. And here's Winch trying to clear it ahead. Intercepted by the Raiders. Pass comes back for Jamie Allen. Can't move it. Berahowski takes a shot. That was blocked in front. Still bouncing around. Finally cleared by the Marlies back into the Kingston zone, and Berahowski will chase it down.
Well, we could see some real golden opportunities here because Kingston may have to open up a little bit.
Here's Allen. He'll clear it in on the right side. Goes behind the net for Collinson. Collinson gets around a check, and he'll wheel with it for the Marlies. Up across his own line at center. Down over the line, snaps a shot. Wilson makes the save, and Collinson goes sliding into the boards. 17:43 to go in the third period. There's our score, and we'll come right back. The right of Jeff Wilson. Picked off by Brock Woods back of the Raider net. His pass is intercepted, then comes loose on the left side for Major. Major's right wing pass for Bodnerchuk. Bodnerchuk trying to get around the defense. Circa does a good job on Bodnerchuk. still bouncing around into the corner. Major tried to get it in front. Woods moves up. And the Marlies come up with it at center on the right side. It's Mike Jackson. Jackson in over the line. Tried to get the pass across. Throws it back into right point. Here's a shot by Collinson. Wilson makes the save. Rebound is cleared. Sukin can't pick it up. And the Raiders clear it. And it does make its way to center where Collinson is there. Back on the other side, the play is offside at the Kingston line.
Well, there we take a look here, and of the scoring, OHL scoring, Rob Sameta moved in as far as goal scoring is concerned with 51 goals in 47 games. I'll tell you, he was away for the World Junior, and he was in Boston for a couple of games. Might have 91.
And you saw Mike Ricci with 51.
Yeah, well, Mike Ricci is a young 17-year-old that he's a player's player. He's
Cleared all the way down the ice.
He's a player. How do you say?
What are you trying to say?
I'd like to have him.
Here's Govidaris coming back for the Marlies. Pass down to the middle, too far for Sameta. Wilson will hold on to it with Sameta in there looking for a loose puck.
I don't know if we get a look here at the shots, but they're 24-24, and it wasn't very long ago where it was about 23-13 in favor of Kingston. Tells you a little bit about how the plays turned around.
Well, they'll have a face-off deep in Kingston territory. 16:42, the time to go in the period. And the Marlies with a 5-4 lead. At one point, they were down 4-1 at the end of one period of play.
No time for this Kingston team to panic. They got to just say, hey, let's get one and get our tie here. And
well, you can't say to them, your backs are to the wall. They've had their backs to the wall for a month and a half.
yeah.
Marlies inside the Kingston zone. The puck is tipped back down into the Marlie end, and the puck is tipped up to Govidaris at center. He was knocked off the puck. McKillop gets it ahead, too far, and the Marlies inside their own zone on the right side for Armstrong. Armstrong throws it over on the other side for Leask. Leask will chop it back into the Kingston zone. Weber clears it, and it goes back down to the Toronto line. On the left side for Leask. Leask comes down over the Kingston line, tried to barge in on the wing, too well covered. Sameta threw it across. Wilson will hold on to it. 16:05, the time remaining in the third period. There's our score. We'll come right back. Balls over the Platers 3-2. Kingston beats the 67s 8-5. Kitchener over the Sioux. London doubled North Bay 8-4.
Talk about some races that other division.
Well, there are races everywhere, and of course the last regular season game is next Friday night. Then the playoffs will start. Here's Jackson getting it back on the left point. Circa throws it back into a crowd, chipped up along the glass. They bang away at it, and here's a chance the other way for the Raiders. Coming down, it's Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh trying to get around the defense. Backhand shot. Cavanaugh was wiped out. The puck still bouncing around. Cleared up on the right side of the Marlies have it. At center, they just bounce it back into the Raiders zone. Wilson far out of the net. Chops it off the wing. Winch is there to intercept. Wilson chips it into the corner again. And Turcotte knocked into the boards. Gets it over for Davidson. Takes a shot from a sharp angle at the outside of the net. Davidson gets it again. Moving right in front. Takes a shot. Wilson makes the save. Raiders very sloppy in their own zone. Wilson had to make another save. Can't get to the loose puck. It's still loose. Cleared. And Collinson can't keep it in. Collinson backs it up at his own line. And the Raiders up on the left side at center. Cleared back into the Toronto zone. The Raiders will make some changes.
Boy, they had some chances there, that puck bouncing around that net.
Here's a chance for the Raiders. Trying to get it in front was Grattan. Grattan holds on to it, then lost it. Burahowski at the right point. And it comes bouncing back at center. Burahowski spun around by Sukin. They still jockey for it. Grattan can't pick it up, and here comes Jamie Allen. Allen down over the line, and the play was offside. There you see the games around the league tomorrow. The Petes will be in Cornwall, Belleville at Kingston, Guelph at London, Sudbury at the Niagara Falls, Kitchener in the Bay, and Ottawa at Bassenland.
Hey, listen, when you look at that, if Belleville can come back here, every single game tomorrow is significant in the race. Everyone. And some real rivalries there. Tell you that the races have been good. The hockey's been excellent. The crowds are up. You know, a lot of these kids are getting a good education. This league has been a credit to the hockey world.
Jeff Waver's long shot goes off Schill. Armstrong will clear it out to center. And Berehowski backs it up and waits for everyone to get onside. Berehowski turns. Spun around. Grattan backs it up at his own line for Waver. Waver on the right side for Jamie Allen. He'll flip a high bouncing shot into the Marlies' own. Armstrong back to get it. Along the boards, Grattan centered it in front. Allen couldn't get it. Waver gets it over. Berehowski, long wrist shot, juggled by Schill, and he sits on it and holds on for a face-off.
That was certainly some trouble. By the way, speaking of good players in this league, Fred Pinnell, who from the Sudbury Wolves and a sniper, is in the Toronto Western Hospital for a back operation this Monday. Dr. Chuck Tatter is one of the best doctors, is going to be performing that operation. Everybody believes it'll be successful, and I'm sure he's sitting there watching this thing, and it goes without saying we wish him the very best.
Absolutely. Freddie, one of the guys that comes to play, as they say, would describe him, wouldn't you say?
And certainly knows where the net is and has seen the red light on it a fair amount.
Here's Sameta for the Marlies, back the other way. We have 13:55 to go in the third period, a 5-4 Marley lead. Nelson couldn't get the pass. Here's Major coming back the other way for the Raiders. Major turns, being checked, feeds it across for Simon. Simon on the right side for Bodnerchuk. Bodnerchuk trying to get around the defenseman. That's Young who grabbed him. It goes back of the Marley net, comes bouncing back on the left point. Here's a shot by Waver. The puck hit the outside of the net. They centered in front. Couple of whacks at it again as the Raiders come very close. Now the Marlies with Sameta the other way. Sameta in over the line. There's a shot by Gobideris, kicked out by Wilson. Nelson on the rebound, trying to get it in front. Back comes Bodnerchuk, a 3-on-2 the other way for the Raiders. Bodnerchuk tried to drop it back. It was tipped out over the line, and back into the corner it goes.
3-on-2 that didn't materialize there.
Marlies come back the other way. Nelson, the Toronto captain, waits, feeds it ahead at center, and that's an offside pass. 13:02, the time remaining in the third period. 5-4 Marlies, and our OHL game of the week returns after this message. For you.
The only Marlboro ever to be selected second overall in the NHL entry draft.
Roger came up with some tough ones, didn't he?
Now we got the first. Remember last?
We got 1 out of 4. You got
1 out of 3. Just a minute. 1 out of 3.
Well, that's 25% for you. That's passing, isn't it? Pass bouncing around in the corner. Here's a chance for Davidson. Moves to the net. Davidson digs it out. Turns. Still has possession of it. Davidson all over the place. Comes out of the corner. Moves in the slot. Takes a shot. That hit a skate in front. I think that one hit Turcotte's skate.
I'll tell you, it certainly did. When he shakes his stick, you can tell that it did. But hey, you can't let a guy like Sean Davidson, an overage player, as we see, he's floating in there too long. Now you see they're all over Turcotte. We're going to see right here. He's right there. Now here, it certainly, as a matter of fact, it hit the Kingston skate, and that puck is hanging around there pretty dangerously. You can't let Sean Davidson float around like that in that slot area.
He had a lot of time in there.
Well, he had a sandwich.
At least. Could have paid for it and had chains and had dessert. There's a long shot. Wilson will stop that. 12:23 to go in the third period. We're still off will be to the right of Jeff Wilson. Berehowski has it back at the Kingston net. Flips it off the boards. Tried to sneak a long pass through. Goes all the way down the ice. Schill will have to clear it. Along the boards, Jamie Allen moves up. Allen checking Circa. Allen in the corner. Trying to come up with a loose puck. Grattan trying to chase it down. Turcotte is there. Turcotte turns, goes the other way, clears it up on the wing for Davidson. Davidson at center has a man breaking, and he hit Jason Winch, but the play was offside.
He was going for the hole. They got that far winger breaking in.
This has been a good line as you see Larry Mavety. You think if you're Larry Mavety at this point, I mean, you're 1 goal down. There's lots of time left, but do you like the zip that the team has or hasn't shown in this third period?
Well, here's the real issue. I mean, this club has fought for their life for so long, and as he explained to us before, for the last month and a half, the games they've lost have all been by 1 goal. Basically, obviously, they got beat by Peterborough.
But how many times can you go into a team like that and say, "Come on, guys, this is a big one"?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know, you've been.
It's not like something.
It's not like they haven't heard it before. Up on the other wing, the Marlies come back down through the middle. Michael Ryer turned, gets it over to Sukin. Sukin threw it back across to Lease. Lease threw it back behind the net, bounces in front, comes out the other side. And on the left wing, Tony Yob has it. He can't get anywhere. Cleared back of the net. And the Raiders, Jeff Waver on it. Waver turns to get around one man. Pass for Yob too far. Goes all the way down the ice. This is going to be icing as Armstrong is back to touch it. We have 11:09 to play in the third period. Did you see Armstrong?
You can tell here that Bill Armstrong, I'll tell you something about him. He was their third-round pick from the Barrie Junior Bees last year. He's 6'4", 209. So if he ever grows into himself, you think, you know, if you get too many of those guys like that, there should be a new rule. Only one defenseman out allowed at a time on the ice. You don't like that rule?
Oh, I don't. Sure, I like that rule.
Okay, well, you're looking funny when I said it.
Well,
because you look funny when nobody says anything.
especially if I'm listening to you. The puck is cleared down the ice, and the Marlies will go back and get it. Schill touched it. Rolls around to the left side. Semeta holds on to it. Now throws it across on the other side for Nelson. Nelson bangs it in. It goes right to Wilson. Wilson tips it over for Shayak, who bumps it off the glass and bouncing back on the point. There's a shot that goes wide. Rebound back the other way. Bouncing in front. Shayak will just clear it off the glass. And here's Nelson getting it back on the other side. And Bodnarchuk will come back for the Raiders. Semeta knocked down in front of the Kingston net. Here's Bodnarchuk heading to the net. Bodnarchuk spun around. There's a shot. And the puck went over the top of the net. I don't know how that didn't go in.
That was an excellent opportunity.
Here's a chance the other way for the Marlies. Nelson moving up. Nelson is tripped. The puck is loose. There's a shot stopped by Wilson. Waver will chase it down as the Marlies come back with a chance the other way. Cleared. Back in front. Here's Govidaris, and he fired it wide. Comes back on the point. Circa takes a shot. Wilson juggles it. The puck's still loose. It's in a crowd. Govidaris takes a whack at it. The play comes back on the point. One of the Marlies is down in front. Goes back of the net. Wilson will come out and tip it into the corner. And then Semeta knocked his man down. Semeta clears it out, and it's whistled down.
Wow, it was a little bit like a shooting gallery there, a little bit. And Wilson has been fairly effective and alert,
doesn't he?
Yes, and he was alert, though, on that puck. They were firing it. There was some pucks coming around the board for that defenseman, and they were drilling it. We see here now, he's coming out here to get that puck. Said, come on, guys, let's get a whistle here.
And he took a little cross-check there in the back, didn't he?
Yes, right over there. He took a shot, and he's, as a matter of fact, feels a little sore about it, but says, don't worry, boys. I'll kick him out. Let's get some at the other end. Let's just get the puck up at the other end. That's what he's saying.
9:39, the time remaining in the third period. The Marlies with a 5-4 lead. And the Raiders' playoff chances could be fading as we sit here. Here comes McKillop at center. McKillop down over the Toronto line, heads on his off wing, checked from behind by Jackson, takes another hit against the boards, and the play is whistled dead. 9:17 to go in the period. 5-4 Marlies, and we'll come right back.
He used to wear patched jeans and say he'd never settle down. They called him the Rebel. And it's for people like him that we make the Chevrolet Corsica from just $12,298. Because let's face it, there's still a bit of the Rebel in all of us. Chevrolet, the world's most successful cars.
9 minutes and 17 seconds, the time remaining in the third period. Face-off in the Marley zone, comes back to Barahowski, takes a long shot, went wide of Schill, rebound around into the corner, and Collinson is there. Collinson chips it, doesn't get it out the first time. Sukin will clear it off the boards back down to the Kingston zone for Barahowski. Barahowski takes it behind his own net, pumps it around to the right side for McKillop, tips it, doesn't get it out. Circa drops it back in. Turcotte behind the net, checked by Barahowski. And Mike Cavanaugh is there. Up on the wing, long shot by Wayne Doucette. Doucette's shot is blocked, gets it back again. Here's another chance, cleared by the Marlies, and it comes bouncing out at center. Brock Shayak will clear it back into the Toronto zone. Doucette and Collinson. Collinson runs his man into the boards, comes back on the point. There's a shot by Waver that was tipped just wide. Goes back of the Toronto net. Collinson knocked down. He's sitting on top of the puck and will get a face-off in the Marley zone.
They had a little pressure on there, and they certainly needed. You know, with Detroit practicing today.
Right.
And it was really interesting. It was very, very interesting to note that talking to Stevie Yzerman and about him being a candidate for MVP, about how valuable he is to that team and what he's done with Detroit when they've had so much turmoil. Former Peterborough Pete. And, I mean, is he ever a class guy? I mean, when you take a look at some of the graduates from this league, they've been something.
Here's Chayak's long shot, kicked out, rebound, chipped over the top of the net. Back on the right side. Goes into the corner. Brad Grattan behind the net is grabbed. Raiders try to center it in front. Grattan behind the net, stays with it, tried to center it, tipped back into the corner. And the Marlies clear it. Chayak keeps it in. A long shot goes to Schill. Schill leaves it behind the goal for Armstrong, who clears it up on the right side for Jackson. Jackson's pass on the wing for Sukin. Sukin comes down over the line, puts on the brakes, tried to throw it back across, and Weaver wheels for the Raiders. Weaver gets it ahead. On the right side, it goes for Jamie Allen. Allen heads to the net. He's spun around. Allen stays with it. Gets it back on the point. Chayak chops it off the glass. Allen in the corner can't get to it, and Sukin flips it across on the right side for Jackson with 7.5 minutes to go in the third period. Here's Sukin. Goes in front. He hit the post. Sukin, a wrist snapshot right off the pipe. Back the other way come the Raiders. Over the line and all alone is Brad Grattan. Shot is blocked. Ryer gets it ahead for Jackson. Jackson down over the line is bumped by Berahowski. Berahowski barreling down on the right side. Gets around a check, goes into the corner. Berahowski and Collinson go after it. Berahowski goes behind the net. Throws it back on the point. Bodnerchuk's shot is blocked. Here's a chance. There's a shot by Simon that just went wide. The Marlies clear it. Goes all the way down the ice. There's going to be a race for it. Berahowski will get there first and touch the puck, and an icing is called.
Oh, let's tell you something about that Berahowski. He's in the play offensively at the other end.
Oh,
we see a little bit of pushing and shoving here with Major and Sameta. But I want to talk about Berahowski. He's in the play offensively at the other end. He's the first guy to get back and touch that puck.
Is cleared up down through the middle for Michael Ryer. Back it goes. Cleared by the Raiders. Up it goes at center. All the way down into the Toronto zone, and Schill is there to clear it. Michael Ryer pumps it off the boards. Collinson goes after it. Back the other way comes the Marlies. Sukin clears it ahead on the other side. Here's Jackson. He fell down. Hit by Bodnerchuk. Centers it in front. Cleared back away, and the Raiders will wheel the other way with it. Here's Simon. Simon gets it ahead to Bodnerchuk. 3:20 to go in the period. Bodnerchuk down over the line. Heads trying to get around Collinson. Bodnerchuk tried to center it. He's ridden out of the play. And we'll get a stoppage in play. And the Raiders, I think now with 3:11 to go, have got to pull out all the stops.
Well, I mean, if there was ever a time when you have to gamble, you have to gamble right now. So I'll tell you, we're going to see, obviously, it's an example of whether the Toronto will capitalize on some of the gambling that'll have to be done now by Kingston. And as we see John Nelson about to take the face-off, you can be sure the last few minutes both teams will go with whatever experience they got. Although Mav doesn't have a lot of that experience. He's got a lot of young kids, most of his players back with the exception of Weaver.
But they've aged a lot in the last month. Face-off in the Toronto zone, picked up by Rob Lease. Lease will come back with it up on the wing. It goes through the middle for Sameta. Sameta comes down over the line, tried to go through the defense. He's grabbed, and the Raiders the other way lose it. Here's Nelson in front to Gouvedes, and he fired it wide. Back on the other side comes Major. He can't get anywhere. Bounces back inside the Kingston zone, and the Raiders will come back. Here's Kavanaugh. Clipped it in, chipped right back out at center. Major's pass, tipped back, and Armstrong has it. 2:40 to go in the third period. Armstrong will drive it into the Kingston zone. Around the boards. Comes bouncing up at center, and Nelson is there for the Marlies. Clears it on an open wing. Sameta tips it back, and then the Raiders will go back and try to get something going. Less than 2.5 minutes to go in this third period. Wayne Doucette clears it up at center. Marlies clear it right back in, but the play is offside.
You know, as we approach the end, we should talk about what we're going to see. We're going to see some real exciting playoff hockey. I mean, there's some teams. You got the Peterborough Petes that are always good. Give them credit. They run an organization. They do a job there. They're in first place again, playing some of their best hockey. That whole other division fighting here for their life. Then you got on the other side, Niagara Falls got some real power over there. Kitchener having a heck of a year, and London coming.
It's going to be an interesting playoff.
And how about North Bay playing some real good hockey with that experienced coach? Windsor in a fight for that playoff spot with Sudbury. Guelph, that good experienced coaching. Hey.
Here's a chance for Winch. Winch throws it in front. Wilson will hold on to it. And we'll have a face-off in the Kingston zone with 2 minutes left in the third period, which is not exactly what the Raiders want here.
Well, I'll tell you what this 2 minutes is going to be. To the Kingston team, it could be the shortest 2 minutes in their hockey history. And to the Marlies, who are going to end their history, maybe the longest 2 minutes.
Well, you know, if you're Toronto, it's the last regular season game here. You don't want to go out losing it.
Well, as a matter of fact, as well as Toronto's played when they're on television, I'd get a contract for all 66 games.
Puck bouncing around, it rolls to the net, tipped off into the corner, and it comes back in the point. There's a long shot kicked out by Wilson, and Doucette will chase it down. Doucette clears it ahead too far. Armstrong at his own line clears it ahead for Turcotte. Turcotte spun around, will clear it in over the line, and here's Jeff Weber. Weber's pass for Doucette doesn't work. 1:35 left in the third period. Armstrong back of the Marley net. His pass is tipped away. Here's McKillop trying to move it in front. McKillop takes a shot, stopped by Schill, and he'll cover up and hold on. And there's a little cocking going on.
Pushing and a little shoving and nothing much, you know. Somebody going after the puck. And Jimmy Lever right there with his hand on the net and said, boys, let's drop the puck here and settle down.
Well, again, a case of somebody going to the net, perhaps in the gray area of hearing or not hearing a whistle.
Well, sometimes, you know.
You don't hear it.
No, that's right. You have a real hearing problem. And
huh?
Well, as we see here, there'll be some instructions right now about what they...
well,
I would guess that they're going to go with 6 attackers.
Wilson
before
is
long.
at the Kingston bench.
He's right there, really just getting some instruction, and Matt
I think we're going to have a timeout here.
Yeah.
Well, Kingston, I mean, you got to roll the dice here.
Is now taking a 30-second.
So the Raiders will call a timeout.
You know, when your whole season of preparation over the summer, after the draft, getting ready for everything, as we see instruction, Terry Martin saying, listen, you guys, we don't need to win 6-4. 5-4, you get the same points, be smart, just chip the puck out, nothing special, and don't get any icings.
Exactly. Don't try to put it in the empty net and get another face-off.
You know, somebody was telling me the other day they were watching an NHL game, and somebody tried to get that extra chance and get that extra goal. Wow, game-winning goals. Jamie Leach with Niagara Falls has got 10. Mike Ricci with Peterborough has got 10. Leading the league, Sameta is right there, and that young Jason Firth from Kitchener with 7. But Mike Ricci, if whatever stat you bring out, he's in it. You know, he is. It's great to have. Well, as we see here, the picture tells it. What do they say? The picture being worth 1,000 words. The real true Chinese proverb is, one look is worth 1,000 seeds. Now that's a little culture for you too. So take a look, because it's worth 1,000 seeds. The net is empty for Kingston. 1:27 to go.
Well, the face-off bounces around, controlled by the Marlies. They don't get it out. Here's Weber chopping it back behind the net. It goes around into the corner. The Raiders move after the puck. Bodnarchuk along the boards. The puck is cleared all the way down the ice, but not enough to be called for icing. And so Weber has to be very careful as he takes it back of his own net. Weber chips it up on the left side. Bodnarchuk can't get loose. It's cleared back into the Kingston zone. We're under a minute left in the third period. Weber behind his own net on the right side for Barahowski. Barahowski for Simon. Too far. Cleared by the Marlies. Back now to the Raider line, and Barahowski turns to get around one man. Barahowski still has it at center. Comes down over the line. Tried to get it to Bodnarchuk. Bodnarchuk turns. Bodnarchuk takes a shot. That was off a blocker. Cleared. Weber keeps it in at the point. Then lost it. Nelson will shoot it. This is going to be interesting. It's wide, but here's Ryer going after it. Centers it in front off the side of the net. They tuck it in, and that'll do it. As Michael Ryer wrapped it around. And this will be a Marley victory in their final ever regular season game at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Well, the interesting thing here is that now we see it, he stays on the puck. And as he comes around, there's somebody else there. He tries to get it to Nelson. Nelson now comes right back to him. He says, I'll just be patient here for a minute. He had an open net. He said, no, I'll just bring it around, make sure myself. And there it is. And that will end the season for the Kingston Raiders.
Well, there you see the Raider bench. Well, you can hear some cheering in Belleville. That puts them in the playoffs.
You can hear the breathing in Belleville. You can hear
Is that Danny Flynn and Sean McKenzie, I think?
Well, I'll tell you what, but don't underestimate that Belleville team and Danny Flynn and the job he's doing there either.
Now they're getting some people back, too.
Yes, sirree.
So 24 seconds left. That'll do it. And here's Gratton picking it up for the Raiders.
Those open net goals in those close games.
Long shot grabbed by Schill. 14 seconds to go. Marlies will just tip it off the glass. Parahusky knocked it down on the wing. Allen takes a shot that goes wide. And the clock is running out. And the season now over as far as the Kingston Raiders are concerned.
And the Marlies come back from a 4-1 deficit. 4-1 deficit to grab a 6-4 victory.
So that will move the Marlies up in the standings. Will put them into a third-place tie with Cornwall, and will eliminate the Kingston Raiders from the playoffs. And we're getting ready for the Molson Cup 3 Stars.
You until we picked them. I had a tough time convincing you.
No, you didn't.
No. I had an easy time convincing you. You have to tell the truth. Well, it's another, as we see, the
nice
Marley
gesture
coach.
there. That is
Yes, sir.
Terry Martin shook Jim Lever's hands, and all of the
Jim
nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's Jimmy's final regular season game as an official, and
he'll be missed.
said he might do some playoffs, but certainly he'll be sadly missed. Certainly for the kind of
tradition,
integrity.
when you talk about tradition, he's a tradition to referee.
We're getting ready for the Molson Cup 3 Stars. Third star was David Schill, who certainly made some big saves after his team got behind 4-1.
I mean, just 3 complete breakaways. That was a good game, Waver. I mean, he got his team going.
And the first star from the Toronto Maple Leafs,
Ron Nelson, who scored the goal that tied it. One of 2 goals he had on the afternoon.
And a pretty goal.